Deny your opponents any hope of a miracle. Gabwellius Fantome is the Dark States variant of the Keter Sanctuary Gabwelius, used in the Parallactic Clash Arc of the Divine Sea anime. While he is an alternate Gabwelius, he plays quite similarly to what an alternate Rezael would look like. He calls units from the drop zone on swing, and he even has a flashy skill related to critical triggers. His Fantome skill not only gives your front row 5000 power by binding a moon, or 10,000 once you've got 3 bound, but also allows you to sabotage one critical trigger your opponent checks by stripping it of either its power gain or the critical effect that you will gain on your turn. With that, here's what the deck can do on a turn 4 Persona ride. By Soul Blasting 2, call back Febrile Dragon. For EV3, call back Reverend Dagger Dragon. If you have sufficient soul, call Pious Breath Dragon who gains 2000 power behind Febrile Dragon. Then, use your Fantome skill. Febrile Dragon swings for 43k. Then, assuming your opponent has whiffed every check last turn, Gabwellius will swing for 36k Twin Drive. On swing, move Febrile and Pious to the soul to call out another Reverend and Folklore from your drop zone. Pious then draws you a card. If you check no triggers, both Reverends will then swing for 43,000, assuming you have the soul to spare. If not, call something else instead of the second Reverend, like Febrile Dragon perhaps. The Folklores will then net you those draws. This admittedly ideal scenario nets you 4 draws and really good power lines, which then scale up going into your next turn. If you ask me, it's a lot better than you may anticipate. The cost of binding 1 moon for 5,000 to essentially 4 units with Gabwellius' mid-battle call is really good value for binding 1 moon. Not to mention its scaling. The second effect is something that seems really innocuous but has really powerful implications. It creates a ton of scenarios where your opponent is always in a lose-lose scenario. If they don't check a crit, you survive anyways, but now even if they do, their lethal ranges are now cut down by a ton, letting you safeguard that would normally be for a Vanguard swing to instead go to the rearguard columns. This means using a PG on a really large rearguard swing in certain decks, or can also mean just having really secure guarding patterns, not needing to play for 1 or 2 to passes anymore. This deck is pretty efficient with its resources, with those units that call themselves back from the drop, who are Soul Blasted to proc other effects, who are then called back by our Gabwellius skill, which creates a really tight resource loop. However, there is a 4 attack cap unless you're really into witchcraft, and combined with a twin drive cap, it really does hurt the deck's aggressive output. I do think the raw power and unit efficiency is great, but you're definitely a deck that can't sack as hard as some of the top threats who just keep drive checking. Still, I'm quite optimistic on the deck in competitive play.